And hi, everybody from Taiwan. I would like to start with talking a little bit, telling you how is the women in Rotary in Taiwan. Well, in Taiwan, our history of having women in Rotary started from 1989, like a lot of other districts all over the world. And at that time, female members were only accepted by a few clubs. And quite many clubs were still hesitant to do so, to open up to women. And in 1990, past RI President Gary Huang, who wanted to speed up the involvement of women in Rotary, proposed to sponsor clubs with female members only to compensate the speed of, because quite a few clubs, they were still not willing to open up to women. And the first one, chartered in Taipei in early 1991, started with almost 100 members. Then that tells you how many women were there waiting outside to join Rotary. They're so keen. And the reason, of course, was that they realized that the leadership learning that they could get by engaging in Rotary the opportunity is tremendous. And roles that one could play in the clubs that also give everyone an opportunity to learn how to be a leader through servicing others. And I joined this club together with Mei Lu, and we belong to the same club. Well, we call it the first all-women Rotary Club, sponsored by Gary in 1991. But after 30 years, and now in Taiwan, female members account for over 30% of the total membership in Taiwan. So that is good to know, and it is continuously growing. I became the first female governor in 2004 in my district, and fourth in Taiwan. But since then, also quite a few female governors also served in the 12 districts. But they are still less than 10% of the total number of district governors in Taiwan. And among the female past governors, many have become inactive since they have not been invited to get more involved in Rotary. And that is important to know. After all the involvement as a leader, they just drop out. And only a few were appointed to continue working with RI. Others had waited too long and became inactive because of their age, maybe. The reason I mention about this is that what opportunities are we opening up to women in Rotary to prove that they are also considered with fairness for leadership positions? Because it's been over 30 years now, and women have already proven that they are capable, responsible, and reliable in Rotary. And women have much heavier responsibilities of caring for the family, especially in our part of the world. Here in Asia, women not only have to do their duties as career women, they also have to look after the needs of the family. And most of the time, the responsibility of looking after the old parents, in-laws, are also on women's shoulders. And they join Rotary because of looking for self-development opportunities, continuous learning, and joining leaders in doing good for the world. But will we let them be leaders as well? There should be more considerations on letting them not only join the leaders, but be leaders themselves. And in our own clubs and districts, we need to consider the same issue by empowering and encouraging our female members to take leadership in districts and club projects and events. The participation and achievements of women in Rotary should be emphasized in our public image campaign in order to attract more female members. Because if outsiders, they see that what women in Rotary are doing, and how they are playing the role as leaders of this organization, I think they will be attracted to join Rotary as well. And successful women in Rotary should be publicized in order to create the role model image that even with multiple roles and responsibilities, women can make it. And women in Rotary is a very good topic to emphasize on. There should be special breakout events in not only conventions, but zone institutes, conferences, and focus on the discussion of how to increase involvement of women in Rotary. What are the hurdles and how to find solutions to their hurdles? So it's only when the opportunities are open for women in Rotary that they can continue to be motivated and stay active in Rotary.
Thank you, Pauline, and let's give her a virtual round of applause. And it's wonderful to be able to have an international perspective on this call, and that's exactly what we are going to hear. We're going to hear from people all over the place. Our next speaker is Jenna Buscemi, and she's coming to us from Houston, Texas. And Jenna is from a family of Rotarians. Both her mom and dad are Rotarians. She's been involved as a Rotaractor and has lived a life of service her entire life. So Jenna is going to share with us some of her thoughts about Rotary and how she fits in at this point in time. Jenna, over to you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time zone you happen to be in. I'm in Houston, Texas, and I'm so happy to be here today to see you guys. I sure wish we were in Hawaii, but this is all right with me. In terms of women in Rotary, I have had so many amazing women that have been my role models in Rotary that I feel incredibly lucky to have been able to have in my life. I have, again, grown up in Rotary. I'm 33 years old. I've been involved in everything, I think, but RILA. And I have had a whole life. I'm a child of Rotary. My dad joined when I was 7 years old. I started going to meetings with him and going to events with my mom and my brother. And I grew up in this. And I was incredibly lucky to have been at District 5890 here in Houston, where we have amazing women that happen to be just members as well as women in power and leadership roles. I have been surrounded by them my entire life, and they have been my mentors, whether they knew it or liked it or not. I have just been incredibly blessed when it comes to that. I was born in '87, just before women were admitted into Rotary. So I have never really known a world without Rotary and women being involved. And that is amazing to me, because Rotary to me completely changed my world. It has made me the person I am today, and I cannot imagine Rotary without women and the amazing women that I happen to know. I have had women that have known me since I was a child, that have seen me go up and through Interact and Rotaract, and to now be a Rotarian in the Houston Energy Corridor Rotary Club. So I have had a lot of different roles in my life, but having two parents as Rotarians that are very involved in all different aspects has given me a very interesting input into what Rotary can give women as well as children of Rotarians. And I think that I am just incredibly appreciative to every single one of the women on this panel, and every single woman that's here right now, and the men that support them. And I'm just incredibly happy to be in the district that I am, and the state and the country, because I think that we have a perfect little district here where we have some incredibly strong Texas women, whether they're born here or not, that have been amazing examples for me for what kind of woman I want to be in Rotary. I have never been told, oh, well, you're just a kid. You're Tommy and Charlie's daughter, right? That's all you are. You're just here to help out. I've been, oh, you're a Rotaractor or you're an Interactor. What is your story? Why are you involved in here? Not just because your parents drag you to this event, which I did, but I enjoyed it all in the end, no matter what. So I was lucky enough to be growing up in this environment, and to not take advantage, not to take for granted, but also just to be happy enough to be privileged that I can be growing up in a world where all my role models in Rotary can be women, the women that I know that have supported me. When I was a child, my goal was to be the first woman president of RI. And I wasn't told, Jenna, that's too big. I was told, okay, well, if you want to do that, first join Rotary and then be an AG and a DG, and then you do this and this and that. And it was amazing to have people support me and then not just be, well, oh, that's so cute that you want to do that. It's, okay, let's do it. And what do you need from me? And let me tell you what you need to do. That was so incredibly important to me, to have these strong women that supported young women in Rotary, because I think it's the future of Rotary. It's the present of Rotary right now. Women are so important to our numbers, and I think that I am just incredibly blessed to have known the women that I know, and to meet all of you here today is just absolutely amazing. Thank y'all so much.
Oh, what infectious energy you have. It is absolutely a delight to be able to hear your perspective this morning. And I love the line. It's one that I will take away from this hour, that you haven't known a Rotary without female membership, that you were born in '87. And that is, that's brilliant. I love that. And I also love that your father wrote in there, "That's my daughter. We're very proud of her," in the chat room. So.
God, make me tear up now.
Profound words, and thanks for your contribution. We're going to switch over now to another continent, and we are going to be joined by Geeta Manik. Geeta is coming to us from Kenya this morning, and from Nairobi, and she is going to be sharing her insights about what she thinks on this topic. And I also want to point out that Geeta is a trustee-elect of the Rotary Foundation, so one of our senior female leaders in the organization, and a very bright light in Rotary. Geeta, over to you.
Sorry, thank you, Jennifer.
Oh, there she is.
Thank you for that very kind and generous introduction. Distinguished friends and family of Rotary, let me first start by wishing everyone well in this new forum, unprecedented days of COVID-19. These are the challenges that have brought forth new leadership styles for women. We didn't think we could do this some 3 months ago, but it's great to be with you all today in the virtual world. Which leads me to share my thoughts and my experiences on the subject of women in leadership into the future. As human beings, one of our core strengths is how quickly we adapt to challenges and find solutions to obstacles by trying to seek out possibilities within seemingly impossible situations. And I really believe that challenges brings out the best in all of us. The fact that we are still discussing women in leadership, it kind of infers to nuances of the fact that some work still needs to be done on this front line. More so, it infers that we still have those disparities that need to be continuously looked at and argued about and debated. I believe that men and women have strengths that complement each other. However, if women are still to compete for the leadership space in any environment, be it in Rotary or outside of Rotary, we must do it on merit. My journey in Rotary began about 22 years ago. At that time in East Africa, there were very few women in Rotary. The few who were there before me were really the trailblazers. So today I acknowledge and I thank each and every one of those for creating the path of leadership for women like me to follow. Even then, at that time, I sensed that they seemed to be pre-programmed to accept the secondary roles. Nonetheless, the fact that they were there and at the top was truly remarkable. But they were somewhat constrained by the stereotypical expectations, as though there was a preordained outcome for them. They were very shy of celebrating their successes. Their victories were really huge for those days, but they were too shy to celebrate. They were careful not to push the envelope further, ensuring that they were not going to cause any ripples in the landscape of leadership. But albeit they were the pioneering enablers for women, these women had the courage to open doors of opportunities, which were really closed for most of us. This was the time when I was being nudged forward and encouraged to do more. I was being kind of forced and encouraged to fulfill my potential, a potential I didn't know I had. Many a times I was finding myself in uncharted territories. I was confused. I was trying to interpret the nuances of mixed messaging. I'd be told, be more cooperative, but don't be indecisive. Be more serious, but don't be too demanding. Someone would approach me and they would say something like, be approachable, but don't be nice. Be a leader, but don't be assertive. But this was from men and women. But they also at the same time showed me how to stand my ground and also when to give way. These mentors took a personal interest in me and my development, and they watched me from a distance. I was one of the regular ones who was at any board meetings, any professional meetings or Rotary meetings, and I would be the only woman in the room, and I would be always told to take the notes, write the minutes, make sure the tea was ready on time, make sure the room was ready for the meetings. And during these meetings, if I ever tabled any suggestion, or if I proposed anything, it was either ignored or it was not implemented. So looking back through with a 2020 vision, it is evidence that it is such experiences that actually strengthened me. Those experiences shaped me over the years through their intrinsic mentorship. These were some of the greatest people I ever met. These men and women helped me find my niche. Recently, when I was appointed as the trustee for the Rotary Foundation, it was women and women leaders who seemed to be the happiest for me, but the men were even happier. So from my experience and now looking forward, I can confidently say that if our vision for 2020 is to encourage more and more women into leadership positions, the best way we could do it was through leadership. Encourage them to leadership positions, provide as many platforms such as the one we are on today, for them to brag, to show off, be more confident, to let them give a chance to display their competence, their flair, their organizational capabilities and skills. It gives women more meaning and more purpose. And these are the things that maybe in certain parts of the world we take for granted. But in the conservative societies, we still have a very long way to go. One thing is certain, the DNF of any woman in any situation generally tends to bring out more empathy, more honesty, more compassion, more understanding, and even more passion. And this DNA trait encompasses the very fabric of all that we do and the ethos of Rotary. So a few days ago, I was reflecting on how I got here. I noted that all the people who had mentored me and held my hand through my journey. I then wrote to a friend of mine who probably is on this platform today, and I asked her, what are your thoughts on this subject? Her words immediately validated my reflections. I realized at that moment that I am here today because I was mentored well. Mentors, as we all know, don't walk around with labels on their chest or their heads to say that they are mentors. But let's not underestimate the power of networking, building bridges, of mentorship. By harnessing connections, you can open doors of opportunities and inspire so many women that we would not know who are watching us and following us. These are some of the conversations and experiences that have made me realize that if women are to realize Vision 2020, to empower more women into stronger leadership positions, it becomes our moral duty to lend a hand, to lift, to encourage, and to ensure that the next generation of leaders have to be stronger, better, smarter, more creative, more innovative than the previous generations. We really need to lead by example. We need to pull up our socks, or shall I say stockings. Let us stop dreaming about Cinderella's glass slippers now. Let us instead go out and shatter those glass ceilings which were broken before us. Let us enable the young women who are with us to tear down the walls of fear and failure. Let us tell them, look beyond those tall walls, and let us teach them how to go around those walls. Let us make it our mission to let each and every young woman to look beyond the societal expectations, and let us make these women realize they can fly with their own wings. fly into the boundless skies. Ladies, you are the captains of your destinies. Grab your destiny in your hand and fly higher than anyone before, for no human has any limitations. Only then can we claim success or significance. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you. Stay safe. God bless you all.
Oh, Gita, what a wonderful message. And I know that there are people wanting to leap out of their chairs.
I think when he was talking about yesterday,
It really does.
fantastic.
There's our administrator could make sure that, yeah, thank you, mute them. Gita, thank you so much for the wonderful words that you just shared with us. And I know that it resonated because I was watching all of the different audience participants, and there was so much head nodding. And I think a lot of people could identify with having traveled similar journeys as they've come along in their own leadership development. And your message of mentorship is profound, and it resonated so nicely off the back of hearing from Jenna. So thank you. We are now going to hear from our last panelist this morning, and she is a pastor for governor who is coming to us from the Dominican Republic. Aura Basilis Domina is joined alongside her husband, who is the district governor-elect, Angel Limel, and she is going to share with us in Espanol her thoughts. And please, Aura, the floor is yours.
Aura, ¿estás lista? Aura Basilis?
Hello, everybody, family in Rotary.
Yes.
Es un verdadero placer compartir con ustedes mis momentos rotarios. Nací en Santo Domingo, República Dominicana, y soy la menor de 4 hijos de mis padres, Salvador y Aura. Crecí con los valores de la prueba cuádruple y siendo adolescente pertenecí al Club Interat La Vega Real, donde a partir de mi interés en asistir a las reuniones fue despertando mi vocación de servicio. Inicié la universidad en el 1988 para estudiar estomatología y debí pausar momentáneamente los servicios comunitarios que realizaba, pero lo retomé al ingresar mi posgrado en Ciudad México y la Universidad Latinoamericana en el 1995, donde a través del voluntariado conjugué mi profesión con mi vocación de servicio, realizando operativos odontológicos con el apoyo de mi universidad y diversos clubes rotarios en México. Regresé a mi país en enero del 98 y empecé a asistir al Club Rotario La Vega Real, del cual mi padre y mi hermano eran miembros. 2 meses después fui invitada a pertenecer al dicho club. Desde el momento han transcurrido 22 años en lo que a través del servicio comunitario junto a mi club he enfrentado grandes retos y alcanzado significativas metas que me han ayudado a ser perseverante, apasionada y visionaria. Mi mayor satisfacción como rotaria es poder notar cómo nuestro servicio ha cambiado la vida de los menos afortunados y cuánto ha beneficiado nuestro trabajo en las zonas más vulnerables de nuestras comunidades. Creo que estamos construyendo un legado en nuestra sociedad mediante la demostración de que si nos esforzamos suficiente, todo es posible. Con el paso del tiempo, he contagiado con mi entusiasmo a personas de mi entorno y esto me ha permitido estar rodeada de nuevos compañeros rotarios de mi generación, con lo cual nuestro club ha ido renovando su membresía y creciendo en equidad e inclusión con que hemos trabajado. Así fue como Limel Mina, mi esposo y padre de nuestros 3 hijos, se volvió rotario y hoy es el gobernador electo de nuestro distrito, con quien he desarrollado un estilo de vida rotaria en familia. Pasé por diversos años del club y luego asistí al segundo Instituto Rotario de la Zona 21A, celebrado en nuestro país en octubre 2006. Durante mi desempeño como presidente de nuestro club, periodo 2006-2007, en ese momento me concentré en enviar proyectos con diversos rotarios de otros distritos que asistieron a dicho evento, lo que me permitió absorber parte de esos conocimientos y llevarlos a la práctica, y conllevó a que mi club obtuviera en ese momento primer lugar del distrito 4060. Lo antes motivó a algunos mentores de mi club de distrito a proponerme como team leader en el programa de intercambio de grupo de estudio a Kentucky y a que me eligieran como past governor, gobernadora propuesto durante el año de gestión del pasado gobernador Raimundo Álvarez 2007-2008. Para el año 2010-11, todas las piezas del rompecabezas empezaron a tomar forma y dar los esperados resultados positivos dentro del accionar rotario. En este contexto, tuve la dicha de encontrar personas de bien que me dieran su mano solidaria al mantenerme firme en el lineamiento de Rotary y en los valores éticos inculcados por líderes nacionales e internacionales, en base a lo cual logramos poner en práctica el fabuloso lema de nuestro past president de Rotary, nuestro querido Rankin de Smith, fortalecer comunidades, unir continentes. En mi gestión como gobernadora, con el soporte del pasado gobernador Miguel Ángel Zayat, logramos un grandioso hermanamiento con el Distrito 5280, que trajo como consecuencia la realización de múltiples proyectos en nuestro distrito, liderado por mi esposo Limel, con un valor de $320,000 y que cambiaron la vida de numerosas familias en nuestras comunidades de nuestro país. Gracias a mi fe en Dios y a los consejos de mi padre, compañeros rotarios de nuestro club, a mi esposa y secretaria de Gobernación, grandes líderes de mi distrito, pudimos concluir una hermosa gestión, logrando reconocimiento especial y obteniendo el 60% de nuestro presidente, mención presidencial. Es cuando en la convención de New Orleans, el presidente de Rotary nos mostró un video, vengan todos a Rotary, y uno de mis hijos comentó, esos son mi papi y mi mami. Fue cuando me di cuenta de que todos mis esfuerzos habían sido apenas cuánta emoción encontrada y el orgullo para mis pequeños. Todo lo anterior fue un motor que impulsó a introducirme en el apasionado mundo de nuestra Fundación Rotaria y en la visión futura. Otra gran sorpresa para mí fue que fui en la cara, el face de ser un líder, la revista y el manual de presidente. Concomitantemente me invitaron a participar como asistente del coordinador regional 2016-2019 y a la vez pertenezco a CADER desde esa fecha. Rotary ha cambiado mi vida dejando huellas que me han marcado positivamente y que me enriquecen por el ejemplo colectivamente hemos dado a nuestras generaciones. Hoy me siento muy orgullosa de ser rotaria de corazón, vocación y mantener en alto los valores de los cuales crecí. Entender que podemos ser fuente de inspiración para nuevas generaciones, demostrando que los distintos roles de las mujeres como hija, hermana, esposas, madres, etcétera, y todo, compañeras rotarias sobre todo, nos permiten conectar al mundo, propiciar oportunidades para las comunidades y hoy la vida nos da un nuevo giro al plantearnos nuevos retos durante la pandemia del coronavirus que nos abre nuevas oportunidades de servicio rotario, por lo que debemos tener fe en que juntos saldremos adelante a pesar de nuestros nuevos desafíos que nos plantea la vida. Muchas gracias y Dios los bendiga a todos. Saludos a Rotary Aura.
Muchas gracias por tu presentación excepcional.
Thank you so much.
It was wonderful to be able to hear your perspective, and I think it was wonderful for us also to include another language in this call so that we really punctuate the internationality of our organizations. So Ora, thank you so much for your leadership and best of luck to Mel in his leadership as governor-elect. We'll look forward to cheering both of you on in the future. We're going to get a little interactive right now, and we have a poll that is going to come up on the screen. It gives everyone a chance to answer 4 different questions, and all you have to do is click on the answers. So if I could ask that the poll is brought up, and while that's happening, I just want to say, April, I love your cat. That was awesome. So take a couple minutes right now. Each of you go through and just click on the one that is applicable for your group, your club, and then you can scroll down on that. So once we've seen what percentage of Rotarians are female leaders, you can go on to answering, has your district had a female DG? Yes. Are you ready to take on a higher leadership role? And when was the last time you cut your hair? Just so that we have a little bit of fun on the call as well. So we're collecting these in real time. And it looks to me like we've got, well, we're just going to give it just a few more, maybe 30 more seconds here just for people to be able to vote and figure it out. Just click on the one that is applicable to you. and that will factor in. We've got at least 140 votes, people who have voted so far. So let's with 260 of us on the call, let's try and get as much participation as we can. And in just a few moments, when we conclude this poll, we're going to have a wonderful treat, an opportunity to hear from Sylvia Whitlock, who I will properly introduce in just a few moments, but a hero to many of us in the Rotary. So as we see these numbers continue to rise, I'm just going to start to give a little bit of a synopsis here. Let's take a look at them. Continue to vote, and it may change things a little bit, but I think let's look at them in real time. So what percentage of Rotarians are female in your club? And 47% of you, 34% said that 47% plus are members in your club, which is the largest number of all of them. 24% of you said 36 to 46% of your club has female membership, and all the way down to 2% with 5% or less that are females in your club. This next question, I think, does us all, gives us all joy. Has your district had a female DG? And that was a yes or no question, and 94% of the folks on this call today say that their district has, in fact, had a female district governor. And let's see, are you ready to take on a higher leadership role? This is a really important question because I think it validates that all of us understand that through our organization, we have the opportunity to grow our own leadership potential. And 89% of you said that you would like to continue to grow as a leader within Rotary, and that is very, very heartening. Now the last one, when's the last time that you cut your hair? And I guess that would mean that you actually cut your own hair, because clearly we're not going to our hairdresser. I know I cut my bangs this morning. I need one now, gets the most, well, actually no, right before COVID-19, 45% of you had your last haircut before going into lockdown. And I need one now, 35% of you said that you need one now. And the follow-up question to this is, how many of you need your roots done more than you need a haircut? I think that that's probably one that could resonate with many of us, both male. Anyway, at this time, we are going to wrap up the poll, and we're going to switch to the next segment of our program here. And it gives me great pleasure to be able to introduce Sylvia Whitlock. I won't go into a long and lengthy bio, but let me just give the brief setup that Sylvia belongs to the Rotary Club of Duarte, belonged to the Rotary Club of Duarte in California. They were the club back in 1977, 10 years before women were permitted to join. They were the ones who actually decided that they wanted women in their club. They had a very progressive superintendent and other male leaders who said that it was important to them to have a diverse perspective in their club. So they brought women in, and when they submitted their names to Rotary, they put a first initial and a last name so that it didn't give away that it was a female member. Well, apparently Rotary caught on, and they pulled their charter. Can you believe that? And it took a Supreme Court ruling for them to get, for us to be able to put women into Rotary. They decided to keep their club going, so they became the ex-Rotary Club of Duarte. And Sylvia was in line to become president in 1987 when the Supreme Court ruled that women would join. And so consequently, she became the first female Rotary Club president in the entire world, and a true warrior and a good friend to so many of us. Sylvia, I'm going to start off with a question, and then I want to encourage folks who have questions that you put them into the chat box. We're going to try and monitor this, and this is your chance to be able to ask an icon her own thoughts on leadership, both within Rotary and beyond. So Sylvia, first question, just for me to ask to you, how are you coping with quarantine? How's it going?
Well, you know, Zoom has really made the difference. Staying home is not my style. Everybody knows that. So being in here 24/7 is really difficult. But having events like this really are making the difference for me. So it's okay. In fact, I probably have met more people in the last 3 or 4 weeks on Zoom than I have met in the last 5 years. So
Wow.
it's okay. I'll deal.
Sylvia, tell us how you've seen things through your personal lens over the last 30 plus years, how you've seen that evolve within Rotary. And do you think have we gone far enough, or do we have room to go?
You know, my heart is so full, so full. I've listened to all these wonderful women talk. And, you know, when Dick Key proposed Women in Rotary, you know, which was a novel idea, obviously, at the time, he could never have imagined the length and breadth that women's service would ever achieve. One thought ever present with me is the thought that there are so many women in the world whose lives would be considerably enriched by membership in Rotary. Not only would their lives be enriched, but the service engendered by their membership is also spread out over all the world. Listen, you know, Jennifer made an understatement when she started this morning and said, the world has changed a little bit. Yeah, it's changed more than a little bit now, but it also changed a lot in 1987 when women came into Rotary. I keep going back to a club in Vancouver where the president said, you know, we invited 2 women to join Rotary and 5 members dropped out and those 2 women did all their work. Hey, that's what it's all about. Women pick up the slack wherever it is and they will do. Someone asked last night, how do you keep women engaged? Well, number one, you have to invite them. First, invite them, but you have to offer them something they can do. You can't, they're not just a pretty face. Of course, they're a pretty face, but there's also something that they can do, people, something meaningful. Pair them with somebody in the club who's probably kind of fading away and get them to help each other to work. You must keep them engaged. I listened to Jenna, who was born in 1987 when all this started. I had no idea what this world was like before Women in Rotary. But now, look at what Jenna has done in Rotary. She is such a moving person to listen to. You know, there is not much I can say. All the women who spoke this morning have told you all the amazing things they've done. Gita, everybody else, you know, and all the things that they have done that enrich Rotary. That's what it. That was Dick's idea. We get women in, it was beyond Dick's idea. We get women in and they will build this to more than it is right now. And he could never have imagined what women would have done. Of course, we have the top job in Rotary, but it took us a while to convince Rotary that women could do even the little jobs. So why do you think it's not going to take them time to be convinced that women can do the top job? I know that women can, and it's okay, because the momentum that's building as members wait to have a woman president is amazing, and we will see what happens.
Sylvia, one of the things that you know, you talked about is the mentorship that you had from men in your club to join, and that you've had male mentors. And talk to us a little bit, you know, we hear sometimes why, you know, from folks, why do we need to have this conversation? You know, really, you know, can we just move on and get on with things? Why do we need to focus on this? And I know that you and I have had conversations before about balance and that diverse perspective that I mentioned that men and women bring together. Why is it important to include men in this dialogue? And talk a little bit about male mentorship and what that's meant to you.
You know, I look at the meetings that we're having now, the Zoom meetings, when we share more than we ever have. There is no Rotary meeting that meets in a hotel, a cafeteria, or dining room, or restaurant that shares as much as we do in these meetings. So this is the kind of thing that we're talking about. A mentor is somebody who's not just lockstep with you, but who takes you to places that you didn't know were out there, who introduces you to the things they have known. That's what it's all about. What you have that you can give and share with somebody else. That's what makes it different. That is what inspires you. There is not one person who will walk away today who hasn't been inspired by something someone has said and will go and try it probably, or suggest it, or move it in their clubs. That's what a mentor does. They awaken in you some of those feelings that you didn't even know you had. They give you a pattern, but they also give you a goal. That's why it's important. We all need that to survive. We all need that to move ahead. We all need that to be engaged. And if we're not engaged, we're not there.
Sylvia, one of our participants has asked if you have planned a memoir, if you have anything in the works that tells your story. I think I know the answer to this, but I want you to share it with everyone.
I have, years ago, who was it? I can't remember who even told me. Years ago, when I first talked about Women in Rotary, somebody asked me to write about it. Mostly because all the people who were involved in that change, Dick Key, Bill Brooks, and so on, were dying. Hey, the phrase in Jamaica says, one foot in the grave and the other one on a banana peel. Well, I turned 85 yesterday, day before yesterday, I'm not gonna be here. So I did write it down. And there is a book, just happened to have it. This book is called Women Also Serve. It's not, it doesn't mean women also serve and serve food and serve this and everything. It means women also, like all the men, do serve. So this is a book that's about the journey from the Duarte Rotary Club meeting and all the way through the U.S. Supreme Court. And there are some quotes from some memorable people. It was an 11-year journey. So it was a lot. There was a lot involved in there. And so I've written just sort of the summary of the events that went through as we worked from inviting women, 3 women, to join the club in Rotary to a Supreme Court landmark decision. So,
Sylvia, we'll try. How can people get the book? And what we can do is probably send an email to everyone after the fact if they'd like to be able to acquire one and have a read. I know that Julian has the ability to send.
Okay, because the Rotary Foundation is near and dear to my heart, all the profits from the sale of this book go to the Rotary Foundation. If you would like to have a signed copy of the book for $20 to me, I will sign it, I will autograph it, and mail it to you if you will send me your address and so on. If having a signed book is not important, but just having a book, you can go on Amazon or any place else and find the book. It's called Women Also Serve.
I don't think that we could give you a better birthday present than for everyone to go and to get a copy of your book and to purchase that in support of the foundation, but more importantly, in support of you and in gratitude for what you have done, how you have paved the way, and for the incredible energy that you have every single day traversing the world. You just gave your age away. And I know that there's many people on the call who were thinking, my goodness, I'm years younger than that, and I'm tired listening to how busy she is and how she goes from one place to another. So thank you so much for your leadership and for your inspiration and for what you have done for our organization. And literally, I know I speak on behalf of myself and on behalf of everyone that we are so grateful to have you in our life. And just a virtual round of applause for Sylvia, please.
I have to tell you, I'm grateful to Richard Key. If he had never invited me to Rotary, look at what I would have missed. Yes.
And we would have missed it too. We would have missed it.
And I tell people about it because I want them to be inspired the way I was and to have some of the experiences. If you have 1 second, I was in India in February before the wall came down, and listen to those girls, those 200 girls in Deepa Willingham School, talk about their experiences and the program they put on and so on. And I sat in the audience looking at those girls and thinking, where would these girls be, any one of these girls, if the school had not been here? This is what's made the difference in their lives, and it's going to make the difference for the rest of their lives and in their children's lives. And it's the same thing with Rotary. The women in Rotary will keep moving on and will move this organization beyond.
Well, thank you, Sylvia. And we ran into each other in India, which was a great surprise. And for those of you on the call who are not familiar with Deepa, she is a California-based Rotarian who built this school just outside of Kolkata. And so, you know, women in action and Rotarians in action, let's just say people of action. Sylvia, we're going to turn it over to you right now because 4 years ago, we established an award, the Sylvia Whitlock Leadership Award. It is an award that is designated to both men and or women who raise up female leadership in some way, in some capacity. Our first year, you were the inaugural recipient, and we also recognized that year past Rotary International trustee Carolyn Jones. You were the inaugural, and she was the first recipient of that award. In the year after that, past Rotary International Vice President Dean Roars was awarded that. And last year, and I know Dean is on the call, and I'm not sure if I saw Carolyn or not, but last year at our international convention, we had this event, and Diane Pamela Collins, who I know is on the call. I saw her and her husband on here earlier. Di, thanks for joining as well. From Australia, she was the recipient of the award. And so today, it is our pleasure for you to be able to unveil the recipient of the 2020 Sylvia Whitlock Leadership Award, and I will turn it over to you, and we all wait in great anticipation.
Okay, well, you cannot imagine how much pleasure it gives me to present the award today. And of course, as I always say, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge really the leadership of the mentor who invited me to Rotary, Richard Key. He really should get a posthumous award for this. He was the one who made it possible for us to have women in Rotary today. Without his pioneering action, we would not have had the benefits of the activities that are earning this recipient today the Leadership Award. I'm grateful to the ladies really who have done the legwork to advance this, to Sieglinde, to Julie with her background there, to Jennifer, to be proud of your achievements. The cause could not be any more worthwhile. Congratulations to this year's achievement. And I'm sorry that our physical distancing has prevented me from giving you a real hug. But please accept a virtual hug from my heart. Do I announce the name?
Yes.
The name of this year's awardee is Jennifer Jones.
Yay!
And Jennifer, while I am so delighted, Jennifer, stop looking so aghast. It is for you. I was just going to say it in my speech. It says, please let Nick hold the award. Please let Nick hold the award. But he's holding it. So I'm happy to see that. I cannot think of anybody else. I cannot think. Do you know, and this is uncanny because I didn't know this. And last night, while I was preparing in my head for this program today, it kept just going through my head. Why can't we give Jennifer this award? Why can't we give Jennifer this award? All night long, I kept going through this. And when Sieglinde told me this morning, I was just undone. Almost gave it away too. But
Yeah.
Here we are.
Good job.
You are, and thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Now I know why Nick stayed home from work this morning.
Oh.
You could not have made me happier. And ladies, I don't know how you, well, obviously you orchestrated getting this sent to my home, and I don't know how it arrived without me knowing it.
We're
these
good. We're
ladies,
good.
Linda and Julie, they have tricks that you haven't even heard about yet. So,
I
they're
clearly did not know this, and I'm overwhelmed and kind of feel a little embarrassed actually. Anyway, thank you, Sylvia. I will treasure this most particularly because it came from you and because of what that means to me. And you are truly one of the most special people in my life. And I love you dearly, and I can't wait for that real hug. Because virtual hugs are okay, but you, my friend, you're one of the best. So thank you. Thank you.
You know, Jennifer, about 5 years ago when we were in Idaho together, do you remember that? And so I was on stage with you and somebody said, do you think we'll ever have a woman president of Rotary International? And I mentioned your name and you were so undone. And I thought, yep, I hope. And whether she ever becomes president of RI or not, in my heart, in my head, you're the RI president.
Well,
Yes, yes.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
thank you for saying that. And let me just say that I appreciate very much your comment. But we also know that in order for a woman to be brought to the highest level in our organization, we can't campaign. And
Yeah, and so I haven't.
so I just want to make that clear that that is a no-no, but I do dearly appreciate your support and your kindness of me. So thank you very
We
much.
can dream.
Now I'm undone because I need to figure out where I go next. So thank you, Sylvia.
Can you hold the award, Jennifer? Can
I
you
was so we could take a picture, yes.
virtual picture of the screen? So if you could just hold it up so we can see it next to you. So I gotta flip. Can you flip it back tomorrow to her on the main screen?
And stop crying. Only women do that.
Jennifer, just say something so the speaker view will be you.
Yes,
I'm talking now.
there we go.
Smile.
Okay, I see Eric still. Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Wait, one more time.
Oh,
Okay, so now we while she's holding it up, that's fine, go for it. We're gonna do our spin outs. We understand not everybody can stick around, but we're gonna have some closer, more intimate dialogue. It's kind of a neat feature. Tamara's gonna spin us off for 10 minutes. There were some questions on the handout that we sent you by email that you can chat about, or if there are other topics that you wanna get ideas from each other from. And then you will immediately come back. So is there housekeeping with that, Siglinda, you wanted to share?
Yes, there are some housekeeping things. And before we go, you'll be in small discussions and there will be a facilitator in each. And if you find a group and nobody is designated as a facilitator, just do it. You're Rotarians. You can get this started. When there's if you get somebody to keep time, when there's about 1 minute left from the 10 minutes, timer will appear, wrap up the discussion, and the system automatically moves you back so we can do a closing. We'll come together, so we'll go apart for about 10 minutes. We'll come together and
15.
go on from there.
15.
Okay, so join your, click on there and going.
This is kind of wild. There's a lot of flashing going on.
hey, Sue.
Hey.
Are you not in a breakout room?
I'm looking and I'm supposed to be in one, and
Maybe we're all in one together?
yeah,
Oh,
this
I
is the one that we're in together.
I didn't click on anything, so I really don't know.
So you know what? Then this group, I guess, is left to be a group together.
Yeah, we're 65.
Okay.
I think there were going to be about 4 or 5 groups, so that would make sense.
So has anyone on this group been asked to be the facilitator? Sue,
I have been.
over to you.
Okay, hi everybody. Well, I can honestly say I've never done this before, so this is kind of cool. I've done a lot of Zoom meetings, but haven't gone into these little classrooms, if you will. So what I wanted to do is first of all, just say hello. And if I could congratulate Jen personally, what an amazing honor. So all of us are living in a different world right now. Obviously, COVID has affected all of us personally and in our Rotary life. So I don't know if some of you want to share how you've been able to go forward with Rotary and things that are working well for you in both fellowship and service, perhaps. And maybe just unmute yourself and share a story if you have one.
Sue, if I can indulge.
Hi, Evan.
Hi. Hey. I'm glad I joined this meeting. How awesome to see Jennifer be presented. That's great. So one thing I've noticed, certainly in my club, and I've been on to quite a number of Zoom meetings since March, about 40 of them, but I've seen how closer we actually have all become as members. And we sort of, there's this thing that pastoral care where, you know, sort of we sort of take a little bit more care of each other. And I've noticed how we've become a little bit more sort of social butterflies, and I've learnt more things about my members that I would normally know to ask or even be interested in. So it's been really nice to see so a lot of clubs sort of, I suppose, maybe become friendlier with each other, become a bit more friendship group. And I think this is something that, you know, whatever the silver lining of COVID-19 is that, you know, our clubs, we can all just get a little bit closer together. And I suppose, you know, Rotary's connecting the world, and where some of us are joining us from all over. But it's nice to see that, you know, we've all become a little bit closer together as members, and it's certainly something that I want to keep going with my own club, perhaps utilizing the Zoom meetings. But yeah, it's nice. It's refreshing just to feel a little bit more closer with my fellow Rotarians, and certainly the ones in my own club.
Thanks you for sharing. Does somebody have any story that maybe they could share with us, and maybe some service that you've been able to do with your club during this time? Because clearly there are a lot of people who are in need right now and perhaps could use our assistance.
Well, I don't have a service story, but one of the things that's going on in my district is there's a lot of people reaching out because they want speakers and so on and so forth. And so one of the things that I've been doing is I've been helping people try and find speakers to come to their virtual meetings. The thing that they've been finding in our district with the virtual meetings is, first of all, we're getting to visit a lot of other clubs. And I mean, we've got like meetings every morning, every night. It's crazy. But we're definitely developing those relationships that, you know, we normally wouldn't have if this hadn't happened. And in addition to that, the fundraising attempts are still happening. They're still selling tickets, surprisingly enough, for the scholarships over in Corpus Christi Northwest. And right now I'm looking for a fundraiser myself to try and figure out how we can move forward depending on how long we're not going to be able to meet. So, you know, I'm open to suggestions, and I'm also doing research with the nonprofit pro people online to see what we can do.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Has anybody, I mean, how are you retooling yourself? I see a lot of people using virtual meetings and so on. How would you think this experience is changing you, and what good do you see coming of it? And Debbie, I just saw your hand go up.
I'll offer that I became a TV producer. I'm a decorator by trade and education, but we decided that when COVID first hit and our clubs were forced not to meet, that our district needed to do something to provide meetings. So we created the Rotary Broadcast Center and put out 10 days of programs. So Monday at noon, Tuesday at 7:30 in the morning, Wednesday at 6:30 at night, etc. We brought in speakers and ran Rotary programs so that while our clubs were thinking about what they needed to do, as district governor, I provided programming for them. So it kind of got us off, kind of traded us from the 115 years of meeting in person to this new 5 months or 2 months or 5 weeks of meeting virtually. So we've had fun with that, and I got to produce some TV shows.
Wonderful. That's a great idea. Very creative. I know in our district we have a passport club, and we've been doing a lot of meetings and having some great speakers. Marie, I see that you raised your hand.
Yes, I wanted to make 2 comments. One of the major changes I've noticed in Jamaica, there are a lot more people visiting other clubs. And there are a lot of people who were very slow in attending meetings or not attending meetings at all. And they are all coming out now. So that's a great improvement in attendance. And we have had parties online where we actually have someone from the Bahamas playing music and other people are dancing. So we're really getting together on a different level. It has been a lot of fun.
Boy, I think I'd like to join that meeting. When are you meeting?
I'll be sure to send you an invite.
Okay, that would be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to share? Yes, Kareem.
Hi, we at East Nassau here in Nassau, we've put out a speaker series. And as a result, we're meeting people all over the world. As a matter of fact, we had Jennifer 2 weeks ago speak to us. But during our meeting, we normally put together some sort of prize for an auction and have everybody vote, bid on it through the chat line and then make an announcement accordingly. But as far as community is concerned, we have been continuing to support the feeding programs that we have in the Bahamas. And that's one way that we've been able to continue our community work. But our speaker series has really taken off, and I'm an immediate past president who volunteered to be the secretary right afterwards. So I'm getting a lot of the requests to join our Zoom's meeting. So for your information, we have John Smudge tomorrow. So please feel free to send requests to Rotary East Nassau, and I will give you the link. Thank you.
Wonderful. So how do you think women, or is there a difference between a male or female in this crisis situation? How do you think women versus men might be dealing with this? Do women and their makeup deal with this kind of crisis maybe differently than men do? Or are we all working together as a team? Anybody want to tackle that one?
We're working together as a team. Yeah.
Do you think there are characteristics of women that they approach these kinds of crises in a different way than maybe men do?
I don't know. In our club, I think all of us are hanging in there. I guess some of us, we have our mental days and then some, but otherwise, everybody is showing up. A lot of more hair on their face and hair on their heads, but and like Anne-Marie said, we are getting more participation as well too.
That's great.
So
yes, Marie.
In my club, St. Andrew, we have started an exercise program, and it was actually started by the men. So each morning, a Rotarian posts an exercise routine that they've been involved in. It has been motivating others who do not normally exercise to go ahead. So I think the physical fitness aspect has been led by our men, which is tremendous.
That is wonderful. I mean, one of the things that I worry about, not only in Rotary, but in business life for especially women, but for, just households, is students are home from school, right? Schools are closed down in many areas. The parents are having to juggle professional life, Rotary life, and now children who might be at home and not at school. How do we deal with that change in the way things are right now? Are we including families and everything now? Yes, Debbie.
Sue, I'll just throw out that every event that our district is hosting, we're making family events. So we do a Friday night happy hour. It's been bingo, name that tune. We're going to have a talent show. We're doing that to include families and saying that, you know, if you don't have anywhere else to be on Friday evening, join your fellow Rotarians and just have a bit of fun. We also, back to when I talked about the broadcasting, we looked at different topics that were answering questions people had at the moment. And one of them was about educational projects, STEM type of projects that we could recommend for families. So that's something we're working on now. So hopefully that helps.
That's a great thing to do, Debbie. I think, you know, the family of Rotary more than ever needs to be together. So what does Rotary look like on the other side, and how do we as women leaders kind of help form that and shape that to make Rotary stronger and better on the other side of COVID-19? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Debbie, hi, do I pick on you?
If you'll re-answer the question.
But I think we are naturally, I think, more creative. As I said, I'm a designer, so I am constantly being asked to think of something outside of the box. And what I think we've done is, as a district, we came up with an action plan that said the norm, everything we thought we knew, everything we had planned, it goes out the window. And so what do we do now? And it was, we have to be creative. But the benefit of that is there are no preconceived notions with this. You know, you say in a regular Rotary Club meeting, oh, that doesn't work, we've tried that before. Well, in this environment, try anything, because nothing has been tried before. So I found that we have been better risk takers. We have been willing to look foolish to try something. As I said, when we tried the broadcasting, we didn't know what it was going to look like. We didn't know how it was going to be received, but we did it because to do nothing was simply not an option. So I think when something like this is thrown at you, you have two choices. You run into the cave and hide as deeply as you can and hope that this too will pass as quickly as possible. Or you jump out of the cave running and saying, okay, what do we try now? And that's been our kind of motto for this quarter of our Rotary year.
Thank you, ladies. The breakout rooms have ended and everyone is back. So now it's time to wrap up.
Thanks, Sue. I saw you with the scarf and all.
Well, I have to, my all-star classmates got to put it out there. So
yes, thank you.
I wish everyone health, happiness, stay well, stay strong, and one of these days we'll all be together hugging and kissing again.
Yes, yes.
See you.
We are back.
Okay. Okay, we're waiting for Julie.
She was there a minute ago.
There's Na.
Yes, Julie's here.
Are you on mute, Julie?
Okay.
Oh, that's it. Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, there you are.
Yeah, I thought you were in the water.
So I just wanted to first off say thank you so much for everybody who came today. I am so grateful to the people who helped organize this, obviously my classmate Siglinda, but there were other people, Adriana, May, Lou, Eric, Joan. So it was really great to have a planning group from all over the world to help make this happen today. We just rolled up our sleeves and, you know, wanted to make sure that we could do something positive during these difficult times. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all of your help and thank you for being here today. And we hopefully hope to see you in Taipei. We will do this on Tuesday evening from 5 to 7 during the convention. And outside of that,
I just want to add one thing. To get an idea of where the venue in Hawaii was going to be, it's go online to the Nut Ridge Estate. It is fabulous. We should have had that in our background.
Yeah.
But it's the Nut Ridge Estate, fabulous venue.
Mei-Lu has helped us, who's on our planning committee, to identify a wonderful spot in Taipei. I saw the pictures and I am just blown away. So we'll definitely have a beautiful venue in Taipei as well. So, and thank you to all the panelists. You shared so much wonderful information for us. Thank you, Jennifer, for emceeing. And we love you, dear. We're so happy you won the award. It just warms my heart. Thank you.
Okay.
Rotary
Well,
Round quilt.
I really want to thank all the efforts because we are writing a new history. Thank you very much, Julie and Siglinde, for all the meetings and for all the expectations we were planning to cancel because Honolulu was not taken going on. But it was not only funny, it was like fulfilling our souls. Thank you very much.
And thank you to Tamara doing the tech